Oh, who do you like more?
I'm just
Who
saying.
do you like more, me or the Raymer show?
Raymer show is pretty strong, but see, I've never been on this show, so.
You better get ready, because I ain't going to throw you up softballs like they will.
All right.
Blake Duncan, what's shaking, man? Hey.
The exchange.
Hey, I've seen one of your signs up at the exchange.
Yeah.
All right, every day, every morning at 8:30, we try to bring you some cool content where we introduce friends like this guy. We want to help your life. We want to entertain you. We want to make fun of me, but most importantly, we want to get the word out about the GTT movement, because what do I want to do, Kathleen?
Be the #1 real estate company in all of Rutherford County.
Ooh, that's right. I like that.
You're limited to Rutherford County?
Well, you're right. We ain't thinking big enough.
Yeah.
Do you want to be, what is the elite judge called? Supreme Court. Do you want to do that?
I'm happy right where I'm at.
We want to be your taco supreme.
Yeah. No, I'm happy where I'm at. Circuit Court's fine with me.
Bill Glass. All right, everybody, we're going to talk about life, because that's what the morning grind is all about. But we're going to pull a little bit of Judge Tidwell's beliefs on this, because I'm a big believer. Coach Burt told me this, because I like to get information. Where's the bow tie?
Well, that's what you're missing.
You're missing that bow tie, John Burles and Jim Wright was shaking.
Different.
Well, the day before the election, it's all about putting out signs and last-minute stuff, so no bow tie today.
Well, here's something I was talking about to Brittany this morning. I believe the best way you can help people is by not protecting them, but by making them stronger for the future. And I'm looking at I'm really relating back to myself. So much of my change has come from challenging myself instead of running from myself. And I believe, like, I'm looking at kids. Hey, because I'm a stepdad now. Did you know that?
I did know that.
So I really want to take great pride in not the mama is always going to think about today. Brittany's going to think about how Nicholas feels today. She's wanting to make him happy today. Well, I'm wanting to make sure in 10 years I've made him strong today, so he can handle in 10 years. So tell us this, Judge.
Yep.
Judge Tidwell. What is the law designed to do? Like, whenever you sentence somebody, are you trying to teach them a lesson by saying, "Hey, dude, you got to go spend 48 hours in jail or 4 years in jail"? What is that designed to do?
Well, I think it depends on case by case. Obviously, the law, if someone goes to jail, that's meant to punish them. But I will say this: what we try to do in a lot of cases is give them when I'm in my mental health court, for instance, I tell them all the time. I said, "Look, you've got a toolbox you carry around, and what I try to do is put tools in that toolbox to where when they're out there and they're faced with a situation and they got to make a decision. All right, which way do I go? They can reach in that toolbox and they can pull out whatever that is. Maybe it's step back and take a breath. Maybe it's call somebody you know or you trust, and that can give you good advice. Maybe it's call your case manager, for instance, who's going to kind of talk you out of doing something you shouldn't do. So that's what we I know all the recovery courts, for instance, focus on that. Now, at the end of the day, there's some cases, there's some folks that, they're sentenced in a case and they go to prison, and then they have to rely on whatever the prison or the jail has for them.
And we got people asking questions.
Yeah.
We got to get to them. Hey,
Randy
do you know Randy Allen?
I do know Randy Allen.
Hey, he said, "Can we see all these people are Judge Tidwell fans?" I saw where Jimmy Turner got on here, but Blake Duncan said something. What did he say? I want to see your opinion of this.
The law is designed for accountability of actions and protection of the general public.
That's correct.
That sounds like a Google answer, Blake. Did he Google that?
No, but what he's saying is absolutely correct. Okay. But the hope is that after the public is corrected, that someone at least gets something that they've learned to where they don't come back. Mm-hmm. Because someone can be punished and they can stay in jail for a very long time, mm-hmm. and the public's protected because they're not out on the streets. However, if they're in for a year, 10 years, or 20 years, the idea, or 90 days, the idea is hopefully they learn something. Now, maybe they learn it in jail. maybe it takes some sort of recovery court type program.
We'll come back to that. I appreciate you bringing that up. But hey, Jimmy Turner, Tommy Santel, all my buddies on here, share this stream out, please. I'm trying to help. I'm going to tell you, I'm trying to help this guy stay in office. So if you would do me a favor and share the stream, we'll come back and we'll pick somebody to get lunch at the Alley on Main. So anybody, watch Christine, what's up, buddy? Please share the stream out. So I want to, I have a hard time. I feel like I'm kind of soft on people. So as a judge, how can you not be influenced by the compassionate side and protect the law? I mean, is that a fine line, or how do you do that?
Well, you're the first and foremost, you have to follow the law. Okay, the law has certain parameters that you just simply have to go to. I do all civil cases now. Okay, divorce, things like that. When I was in General Sessions Court before being appointed by the governor to circuit court, I did all criminal cases. And you have to follow the law. But I will say this, the law does have certain provisions in it to where, for instance, in my mental health court, if someone has a severe mental health illness, we have certain provisions where as a part of their, if you will, punishment or the punitive part of what happens in their case, they can get mental health treatment, counseling, and things like that, because we want to protect the public. You certainly want to follow the law, but again, you also want to have someone who is not going to reoffend, and that's really, really important. Going forward, like you said, you're talking about your stepson. Mm-hmm. By the way, do you realize you're going to get a Father's Day gift this year?
Probably not.
Have you ever gotten a Father's Day gift?
No, I don't know if I'll get one.
You're going to get one.
We'll see.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I appreciate everybody jumping on here. They're sharing it. I appreciate it. Ryan Denny, good morning. Ben Wood, I saw you on here. Tommy Santel, thank you for sharing. We got Judge Tidwell. We want to keep Judge Tidwell in office. Thank you for coming on here this morning. One of the things you seem to be very passionate about is this mental health. Or is this just something that you have to deal with? Because didn't you put a program in place, you and Wilkie?
Well, I didn't put a program in place, but I was a part of a group, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of folks a lot smarter with me when it comes to mental health issues. We noticed that out at our jail, I asked the administrators over there, how many people in jail, this has been about 3 years ago, are on some kind of mental health, let's say medication. Turns out almost half of everybody in jail is. So it's a real need. Someone who is in jail with mental health issues, but if it's for a nonviolent misdemeanor, it costs about $67 a day. I know you like numbers, okay? So $67
I like
a day.
Money.
Well, I understand.
Rod Key's on here, by the way. He doesn't care if you've got a torn meniscus. He wants you back in
my
here.
meniscus is torn, I promise, okay?
I saw him running down the hallway, though,
Yeah,
Rod.
turning cartwheels. But the bottom line is it costs $67 a day for someone, maybe they've called 911 63 times a day. So as taxpayers, we're paying $67 a day to house them. If we can get them into mental health court, get them treated, get them back on their medication, it costs about $17 a day to supervise them. So the money savings is unbelievable. Now, we're not talking about people who are violent. We're not talking about drug dealers, people who need some form of incarceration. We're talking about nonviolent folks in our program who, quite frankly, they need to be on their medicine and be treated.
Now, hey, you might not know this, but I've got my minor was in criminal justice and sociology. My degree's in psychology, so that makes me extremely qualified right here. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
So one of the things I always heard was rehabilitation was not working. Like you send them to prison, they come back out, they're not being rehabilitated. Have you seen a shift in that? Are you seeing a change in that?
Well, I think, I don't know. I don't deal at the circuit level a lot with criminal cases. I did in Sessions, which dealt with the county jail. Okay, mm-hmm. In other words, people who had misdemeanor sentences. But as far as circuit court, I don't deal with that a lot. I think, though, it all goes back to programs, for instance, that you know, you've got your workforce here, and I'm sure you send them to programs to give them those tools, to teach them things they need to know. I think that's what it comes back to is, you know, while someone is incarcerated, are they getting programs? Are they getting their GED, for instance? Is that available? Are they getting job training, you know, for when they do get out, they can go out and get a job and things like that.
Everybody, we got Judge Tidwell on here. Let's keep Judge Tidwell. So if you got any questions, throw them at us. Jimmy Turner, Teresa Hanson, thank y'all for getting on here. Jimmy Turner's got your little Facebook thing up there. What do you believe the mental health, is it working, the program? Do you believe it's starting to work?
Oh, well, it absolutely is. The numbers speak for themselves. We have about 25, actually more than 25 folks in the program now. Very, very few are reoffending. We have actually some of our first graduations coming up in May. That's open to the public. We can, I'd love for the public to come out, but we're seeing folks that have, they've been on drugs their whole life. They've never taken their mental health medication, and now these folks are actually working, which means they're paying taxes, you know, and they're staying out of trouble because they're, you know, putting 8 or 10 hours a day in at work.
Judge, I know I keep moving along. I'm trying to interrupt you. I apologize. I like to get to the people, like Blake Duncan. Hey, Blake seems to be a very informed,
I just checked him out,
very
Blake,
informed. Hey, were you an attorney at one time, Blake? The public should focus more on prevention than rehabilitation. It's cheaper.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I agree with that to a certain extent. And I think there's just multi-levels that you attack, you know, any problem. For instance, problem of crime.
Yeah, just not one thing.
Prevention's a big part of that.
Yeah.
You know, there's no question about that. But when you look at a budget, you know, for instance, a county budget, you know, they're only going to pay for so many sheriff's deputies or police officers, and when that stretches thin, I think there's, you know, it's kind of a multifaceted attack, if you will. And so prevention is absolutely important.
Yeah.
There's no question about
But that probably comes down to also to us as citizens, like the hero from the Waffle House.
That's right.
I mean, you know, the public needs to be more involved in law prevention. Now, Lisa Progar's back there. Her husband is he a Metro cop, or do they call it? So he's a Metro police officer. Jimmy Turner had a question. You had your first jury trial as a judge earlier this month. How was it?
It was great. 5-day car accident trial. That was jury. I've had many non-jury trials, which is mostly what you.
Do you ever bang that gavel?
No.
Enough in here.
No.
Or how
have you ever a GTT gavel?
No. That's why we don't give you a gavel.
Have you ever held anyone in contempt?
Yes.
You'll be really.
Yes.
Really? Hey, can you say who you would vote #1 attorney in town? I'm just kidding. You can't do that. I can't do it.
They're all great.
Please fire some questions. I appreciate you, Blake. I appreciate you, Jimmy. If you got any questions, please fire them at us. Here's a question I have, and if you guys have any questions, we got a lot of people here supporting the judge. I can count probably 30 to 40 people watching live with us. Hey, what do you feel like is the biggest problem our county or our area faces moving forward right now?
Growth.
Ooh, we want that growth, but we don't want them problems.
Well,
I can't believe we got to deal with all these problems.
No, infrastructure dealing with growth. That's number one. It affects the courts every day. It affects, you know, we talked about law enforcement a minute ago. It affects law enforcement. It affects you getting to and from work. You know, where it used to take you, 10 minutes, now it takes you 25 minutes.
You get mad. You're mad.
Well,
don't
get mad.
You know,
meditate.
I've become so annoyed. I can't even hardly text and drive anymore because there's so many.
Well, that's because it's against the law.
I'm starting to feel guilty about it.
You should.
So tell me this.
Listen,
not guilty. I'm starting to get concerned.
Public service announcement: do not text and drive.
Okay, well that's obvious.
The Highway Patrol will tell you it's probably the #1 cause of accidents.
I know. Well, I've gotten to where I'm leaving it in my pocket. Unless Charlie's in the car with me, then I've got an extra set of eyes. What do you take the most pride in as being a judge?
telling you not to text and drive.
Yeah, telling people not to text and drive. Now, you know, it's an honor being a judge. It really is. I mean, it's a responsibility I take very, very seriously. And so I just take pride in the whole process. The fact that, you know, for instance, in 2014, enough people thought well of me to elect me to General Sessions Court. And then, you know, last fall, the governor thought well enough to appoint me. And so I just take pride in what I do. It's an important job, and I enjoy it.
Man, we've got all these questions. Hey, so Tommy Santel, hot shot attorney. I will give my support to Tommy Santel. If you've got any kind of legal needs, reach out to Tommy Santel. And Jimmy Turner. Hey, we got two of them on here.
Let's go to Miss Brandon. That's what.
Well,
I
we've had two questions.
These are good.
Tommy Santel.
So tell us about your background and the importance of your background in being a judge.
That's Tommy Santel.
Okay, so I started at the Metro Legal Department back in the early 90s. Went from there to, I clerked for about 3 years with a criminal court judge in Nashville. Wrote a lot of her opinions and memorandum, things of that nature. Really enjoyed it. About 3.5 years. We probably sat through 130 trials in those 3.5 years. And then I was in private practice through 2014. So technically 2 years of private practice with the judge, I was an attorney, but then I went into private practice in 2000 through 2014. General practice of the law, criminal defense, personal injury, things, divorce, things of that nature. And then in 2014 was elected General Sessions Judge here in the county, where I served until last fall. Governor Haslam appointed me to the circuit bench.
Did y'all talk football that day?
Actually, we may have. So what happens is the three finalists, which I was blessed enough to be one of, we go meet with him in his office, and you really, at least with me, and I think it's true, all right, you really don't talk anything about being a judge or anything.
So let me brag on you. If Governor Haslam says you need to be our judge, we should all just believe that, shouldn't we?
Well,
do you remember Tim Spry? You used to work out with him.
I do.
See, you got to say hi to all the people. We got more.
How you doing?
Brittany Renee.
Tim, my meniscus torn. I will be back. I'm sorry. You got Tommy every morning.
Dude, we're pushing it hard. Brittany Renee want to know what was worse, texting or doing Facebook Live while driving.
Both are equally bad. Don't do either one.
Charles Redmond. Do you know Charles Redmond?
I do.
Do you think he's going to vote for you?
I don't know. I hope everyone votes for me, okay?
Blake Duncan wanted to ask this. What are your thoughts on a Metro Nashville project to reduce the transit problems around Middle Tennessee? I don't know if that's the rail. Hey, are you allowed to talk about that?
I don't know that it's something that ever come before me. Let me say this. My philosophy is less government is better.
Man, I messed up my questions.
And I don't, man.
Now I don't know. I don't know what I've done, but I've messed it up.
Hit finish there.
No, you done?
Oh, I figured that might take it back.
No, that ends it. Obviously, you don't do it.
Technical.
Hey, I do want to say this, and I want you guys to ask him some more questions. How long have we been going? Normally it's a 15-minute show, but today, 19 minutes. It's going by so fast. I didn't bring it. He just came over here. I've been asking him to come on here for a while, but I didn't want to get on here and just let him talk about he's the greatest. I want people to know that Judge Tidwell is a real human being, a very, very high character guy that I've gotten to know really well of maybe last year almost now?
Starting in
July. We've worked out together. We were around each other several days since... Probably, what? Oh, he's flexing. So I believe that you should really know what he believes, and he wouldn't even let me cut up with him like in the gym. He'd correct me, but he's a man of very, very high character.
About once a minute.
Once a minute, he will let me. I mean, he's a very intense guy, and he is somebody that really, really believes in protecting the law. Correct.
I believe in following the law. And I don't know how much time we have, but let me say this.
You say it, Judge.
Tomorrow, May 1st is Election Day. So traditionally, very low turnout, okay? Probably looking at around 10 to 12% of those registered voters. Those listening, please go vote, okay? We have a lot
Can
of
we say,
people
please,
running.
I'll say, can you please vote for him?
Well,
Please vote for Judge Tidwell.
I'm going to ask for all of your
Felons
votes.
cannot vote.
Not only do I ask for your vote, but if you will tell everyone you know, get with them today, remind them tomorrow, May 1st is Election Day, vote, and tell them to vote for Judge Tidwell.
Ooh, I like that. Call it. Hey, just
Like
vote for.
it?
Or what you could do is you could share this stream. I mean, the more you share this, you can get to know this man. I mean, I know how hard you've worked. We've talked about this really since July. I know that Governor Haslam appointed you, and you're somebody that I have endorsed. Not that that means anything, but I take great pride in being your buddy. Cousin Charlie, is there anything you'd like to ask him?
Thinking here.
Obviously,
What has
you're not
been the most challenging thing you've had to deal with as being the judge? Is there anything where you deal a lot with civil?
Dockets.
The dockets.
Docket control, because, for instance, we just...
Now, hold up. What is docket control? What is that? What is that?
So, okay, so in general sessions, and especially those who practice down there know, I would have dockets of 200, 300, 400 people in a day. It's just absolutely insane. Okay, so I thought when I go to circuit court, okay, we have much fewer cases. It's a trial court, but I found that it's really no different. We have a lot fewer cases, but you know, I can only hear one trial a day, for instance, or one hearing, and so trying to get access to justice is extremely important. Okay, in other words, someone, whether it's a divorce, whether it's a car crash, whether it's a contract dispute, whatever it might be, you want your day in court. And that's been the hardest thing for me to juggle, and I think it is for all the judges. In other words, you know, how do we get this to where people get in court and get heard quicker? Now, one thing that just happened is Bill Ketron just sponsored a bill. It's in the governor's budget where we're getting another circuit court judge here in Rutherford County and Cannon County. 16th Judicial District covers Rutherford.
Can we just go ahead and give that to your opponent and say, let's keep you here and he can take over that?
Well, that's up to the governor. Okay, the governor's got to appoint for that. But
can somebody tag Governor Haslam so he'll watch this?
Yeah.
He's not going to be tagged.
I'm sure he's heard of this program.
He's probably watching this.
So that's the biggest thing, honestly, is because it's so important. Getting people to where it's heard and they're not having to wait and postpone and wait. And so it's difficult.
Now, I did have another thought. Do you have a question, Kathleen?
No.
Okay. Here's my question. When you were a practicing attorney, what was your expectations from the judge? What does a judge need to present to be good, effective at their job?
Listen. Okay. Everyone wants to be heard, and it's extremely important. You have lawyers, you have litigants. I think they just want to be heard. They want to present their case. You know, here's how I see it. And so listening is so important. And then, you know, applying the law to that. I mean, that as a lawyer, that's all I could really ask for is, Judge, if you will hear my argument and then apply the law correctly as I see it. Now, bear in mind, there's always two sides. The other side would say, well, you're not applying it correctly if you side with them. But just listen, apply the law fairly. And I think really, and that's what I've tried to do since 2014, quite frankly. And I think if you do that, then I think there are some times when folks aren't on the winning side, but at least if they feel like they've been heard.
Acknowledgement, yeah.
And if they've been heard and this is the decision, then I think folks can live with that a lot better.
So would you say there's a lot of learning on the job when you become a circuit court judge from an attorney to go from here to there?
Going from an attorney to a circuit court judge, yes, absolutely.
So
luckily I've shortcutted some of that because I've been on the bench in sessions since 14.
So your opponent, I don't know how many people you're running against, but does anybody else have any experience of being a judge?
No.
So really, it just makes no sense to vote for somebody that does not have that experience?
Well, again,
You can't answer that, can you?
I want everyone's vote, and I want them to vote for me. Okay, they have to make that decision as to who has the most experience and things of that nature.
Well, as the man, I mean, I know you very well, and I don't think we
Thanks
could
for
have.
putting my
I
son up.
don't think we could have a more honorable, high character person in this position. So,
Well, I appreciate that.
have we had any other questions? Because I messed it up, and I've got like a new screen.
This voting is a huge responsibility. It's
Yes.
your duty to vote. Fair adjudication is all that can be asked from a judge.
Who
I think
else?
Blake Duncan needs
Blake Duncan, man, we need to bring you on here, man. He is
Jimmy Turner?
Jimmy Turner. No, Jimmy. He is he's an attorney here in town. You know Jimmy well, don't you?
I do know Jimmy.
Jimmy used to work out with us. You know, since you quit, he quit. Haven't seen him in the gym since you've been gone.
Maybe there can be a little judge's corner.
And I don't think Jimmy's got a hurt knee.
I think he's.
I don't know what's going on. I have an excuse, see, but my problem is when they fix it. He said I'm only going to be out about 3 weeks. So when it's fixed, the clock will be ticking again to get back with you guys, and we'll be climbing the mountain and doing all sorts of crazy.
Hey, can you answer this question? I don't know enough about it. This what is Trump talking about? Where they're going to his attorney to get information? Is that legal? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
What are they doing?
But the special counsel Robert Mueller has gone to his personal attorney.
You know, listen, I usually keep up with public stuff a lot, but I will say this: the last 5 months,
You don't even know. Do you know who the president is?
I'm pretty sure it's Donald Trump. I think I've got that much down, but
Do you know who the mayor of Murfreesboro is?
yes, Shane McFarland.
Okay.
Is this a quiz? We're gonna.
Do you know who John Burleson is? Let me tell you who John Burleson is. He's the guy that designed Brittany Renee's ring. And he's the guy. John, do you live in the city limits? I know you live right back over here. It gets kind of confusing back there. But if you live, do you have to live in the city limits?
To what?
He can vote. He just can
No,
be.
Rutherford County.
Rutherford County. Okay, so
Or Cannon County.
or Cannon County.
Rutherford,
Joey
yeah,
Holt.
that's right.
If you're still, hey, you can vote for him.
That's right.
Tommy Santel, Kathleen, you can vote for him.
And vote for Ronnie Martin.
And Ronnie Martin. We got a few folks we really.
Randy Allen, county mayor.
Can't Randy
Although,
Allen.
let's be clear, I know I'm on here, but ethically, I cannot endorse anyone. So
We're not asking you
I
to.
just
But who
wanna-
should I vote for? No. Cousin Charlie, who are
I
you
just
going to
wanna
vote
be
for?
clear.
I've already voted.
Have you
Oh,
really?
ooh.
Are you allowed to say who you voted for?
I can.
Can we do an Insta story of you voting tomorrow?
I don't think they won't.
Yeah,
let
they
me
won't
come
let you
up.
take your phone out and like go live while you're there. They tell you to put it up.
What is the Brad Turner comment?
Brad Turner? I don't see his on mine.
Brad Turner.
It's on mine.
Oh, what was that about?
I don't know.
I don't see. I've got it.
Here's something. Brad Turner, I support Barry Tidwell as a county commissioner. Understand the challenges it says, I understand the challenges our court system faces, the pressure on our public safety officials. I appreciate Barry for all of his service and look forward to his continued supporting him in the role. I appreciate his integrity and his focus on blind justice, not just as a judge, but a person in our community.
Man,
Thank you, Brad.
man, you talking about a ringing endorsement?
That's Brad's.
See, I
listen,
can't. Normally, I can see the questions, but I hit the wrong button.
Well, let me say this. We have Brad, of course, as part of our county commission, and I just think we have a fabulous county commission leading the county. Again, that's not a ringing endorsement of anybody because I can't do that. Okay. However, I can say my time, especially in General Sessions Court, where we did work with them a lot, and the mayor as well. It was a pleasure working with them. So those are kind comments.
Well, hey, everybody. So tomorrow, is it the last day?
Tomorrow is the day.
It's
Yes.
over. It's over after tomorrow.
But here, this is key. 7 to 7. Okay, 7 in the morning or 7 at night. So it's changed this year. You need to know this. Okay.
I got another question.
Okay, let's hear it. And then
I wanted to know, I read these little things that pop up, and it's based on voter opinion of some sort where they ask judges or attorneys
Yes.
who should win the They give recommendations and they
Yes.
give these little odds or
Yes.
what does that mean?
Well, here's what it means. Peer
Tell me where this was done. Because
Okay, so peer review is very, very important. And what this is they do every year, they call it the Bar Association poll. Anytime there's an election or there's folks up for an appointed position, they poll members of the bar. Now, listen, these are prosecutors, these are defense lawyers, these are lawyers that only do contract work or construction work or maybe work for the state of Tennessee. In other words, any type of lawyer you can imagine. And so they put a poll out and they give the candidates and they say, okay, so who do not recommend, highly recommend, or there's one category that says, I don't know who they are. I was fortunate enough to 97% of my peers either recommended or highly recommended me for this position. I would note, and this is all, it was in the newspaper and all, that 67% said that they do not recommend my opponent. So peer review is important, just like in your business. You know, if I'm going to the doctor, you know, I don't want to go to the doctor that all the other doctors say, look, don't go. I want to, you know, I want the ones that the doctor says.
I got you. So everybody's saying you're the greatest.
Well,
You're the great. Hey, we do have a question.
97%.
I don't know how to pronounce this name. Elyse. Elsie. Do you know Elsie?
Do you think that a judge's political beliefs should influence his or her verdicts or other decisions?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Boy, you said that with some certainty.
Well, because
Ooh.
here's the deal. When you go in court, everybody. Actually, I don't know if I do right now, but you have this lady justice holding the scales, okay? And if you notice in all of those pictures or statues or whatever, she has a blindfold on. And what that blindfold represents is that judges should be blind as to any influence other than what that case represents, the arguments, and then ultimately the law that should control it. And so we have partisan elections here in Rutherford County, but the answer to that is absolutely not should any political view or stance, anything of that nature affect the case. And if it does, then the system is completely shuts down and is broken, and you just can't have it.
Man, you look like you belong here. Would you rather be the judge or would you rather do this every day with us?
The judge.
Really?
Yeah.
You look so good doing this. So I appreciate you coming on here. If you have somehow found this stream, if you're watching it every day, Monday through Friday, we try to bring the morning grind. My name is GTT, Good Time Tommy.
That's backwards on here, though. Why is the signs backwards? See, I'm pointing.
They know what it is. That's Judge Tidwell over there. So hey, you
Psychological,
could help.
you know.
You could help by sharing the stream, get the word out.
No.
I am, along with everybody in this room, is a huge Judge Tidwell supporter. I believe we should keep him.
So has this been the highest rated program you've ever had?
No.
I mean, I just want
Not
that
yet.
was quick.
Hey, not yet. It could be.
Wait, that
It
was
ain't done.
My goodness.
Well, maybe you'll come here after. When do you find out when you win?
Tuesday night.
What are we doing? Let's get out and drink. Let's
Wait,
get
no,
out
no,
and
no,
drink.
No.
Are you related to Greg and Lisa? It's a question from a fan.
Okay, so that
That's John Burleson. Jim Wright.
That requires a long answer, but going.
We all can somehow,
Well,
ain't we?
the answer is yes, because we all came from Virginia, and I've researched this, and no one wants to hear the history of the Tidwells. But I have paperwork. I've talked to Greg numerous times about this, and I have paperwork, that traces it back. And so the answer is yes. Now, are we like first cousins? No. But somewhere down the line we are.
Fourth cousins.
Yeah.
Our famous ring maker says you're fourth cousin.
Yeah, he said
you
you're
go.
fourth cousins.
So there
Crazy.
you go. Once removed. What is it? What does that mean? Once removed. What's it?
I don't know.
Once
I've
removed.
heard that. I don't
I
know
mean,
what that
kicked
Once
out of the
removed.
family or
means.
something.
Got kicked out but came back in.
Is there anybody else that would like to make a comment before we show? We're going to start doing some work around here. Is there anything we can do the last minute? Do you know about where you are right now? Can you go peek and say, is there a stat sheet we can look at?
No, I know there's been about 8,100 early votes. Now, how many of those are for me? I don't know. We'll find out.
How could we find out?
You
Is somebody looking at them?
You cannot.
Does somebody have a way to find out? How do they fix races like in Chicago?
No.
How do you do that?
It doesn't matter. It does not matter. That's for tomorrow's show, in which I will not be on.
What would you do if you did not win, Judge? What would you do?
I'm not even considering that option.
Ooh.
Power of positive thinking. That's not even an option at this
If you
point.
weren't judge right now, would you want to be a defense attorney? Would you want to be what would you want to
Well,
do?
bear in mind, I was talking to someone the other day. Bear in mind, when you say defense attorney, I mean, you understand that you're either a prosecutor, which, there's 20 or so in the county, or you're a defense attorney. You either do plaintiff's work or defense work. So, I probably would be doing defense work, but I don't know. I hadn't been practicing since 2014, so
And that's only a few years.
it's almost 4 years.
A lot can happen over 4 years. Everybody, we appreciate you tuning in. Remember one thing, let's keep Judge Tidwell. So whenever you're out, tomorrow, can you go today or is it going to be tomorrow? So tomorrow, let's have a big push to get Judge Tidwell. Let's keep him. That's what we say, right? Let's keep Judge Tidwell.
Right.
Everybody,
Exactly.
if you see this stream, you would really be doing Judge Tidwell a favor.
My sign.
You'd be doing the honorable judge a favor by sharing this onto your stream, because I think people should know this guy, he's a human being with a high skill set of the law. So you should vote for the man of high character. He used to be a good runner, but he's got a bum knee.
I'll be back.
He's saying he's going to be
be
back.
back.
So everybody, thank you so much. It means a lot to me that you watched. Have a great day, friend.